Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming. My name is Olo and today we have a good Great Axe build. I know, it's finally possible, it's crazy. This is thanks to the buffs to Great Axes in 1.06 and the insane Ash of War Waves of Darkness being fixed in 1.05. We've been able to combine these two into something very special. Basically, we picked what we think is the best Great Axe to run with weapon buffs. This is the Crescent Moon Axe. It has these colossal style slams that are made even faster in 1.04 and the semi-unique heavy attack combo, which we basically just see on Godric's axe otherwise, so I'm very happy to have this on another weapon. We can enhance that with the charge attack talismans and the physic for even more damage, and on top of all of that, we've learned recently how effective the bloodflame blade buff is on Ashes of War. You could make, say, a ranged Ash of War actually have bleed build up, which is amazing, but of course it still works on melee ashes too. We take what is a good AR axe with a newly improved attack speed buff, a really cool moveset, surprising range, and we enhance it with bleed and what could be as argued as one of the strongest ashes in the game. So to say the least then, this is an incredibly fun and cool build. We're very happy with it, but full props to Josh for picking this weapon and combining it with Waves of Darkness to make this so insane. Let's get into the gameplay though and talk about it, starting with a PvP, and we'll go straight into the meat of the build, the Ash of War Waves of Darkness, because Jesus, it's strong. It's a 3-part attack in which the initial slam has hyper armor to protect you. Then you got the follow-up waves that blast out from the original location multiple times, and then after that there's a unique follow-up attack where you use a heavy attack and it'll do this unique swing at good range with good damage on top of all of it. Basically, trading with this Ash of War is not just a mistake, but likely instant death. So plainly, this is outrageously strong, and with that armor to secure its massive threat in trading, it's not something too hard to land. Honestly, it's like I said, it could be one of the strongest Ashes of War in terms of output per single use in PvP. Trying to slide this in suddenly during a trade when they're not expecting it seems to be the best way to land it, and again, it does so much damage it's likely gonna one-shot. You could also just drop it and let the waves spread while fighting normally and benefiting from that, and thanks to the bloodflame buff, the waves themselves will also deal bleed build up, making them somehow even more deadly. But what about the axe itself? Well, the new attack speed leads to great trading possibilities with even just the basic attacks. You can get an attack off and then evade even faster, or combo into further attacks to trade and catch people out. The range of the great axe itself is surprisingly good because of how long of a weapon it is. It seems to clip people when they're not expecting it. Then there's the more unique heavy attack which we showed, that 2-hit combo which is very heavy hitting. The issue with this, as cool of an animation it is it's not really likely to land in PvP, especially a fully charged up one that takes a while. It's more likely that in the middle of a combo you'll throw out, say, a fast charged heavy, but a major upside to the Great Axe are the 2 fantastic running attacks. The running light attack comes out quick and makes for a great roll catch generally, but also the running heavy is the same thing, it's also good for that. The heavy is going to deal more damage, but it's a bit slower, and that's a really good thing. It means we can play a bit of mind games with our running attacks and the roll timings. If they early roll, you could use the slower heavy to clip them, mixing up with the running light and the heavy where needed, which is so nice to have because they've got both really good range, really good damage, and they're both fantastic roll catches that you can mix up to try the different timings. I'm really happy with this in PvP. The basic damage is shockingly good, with the really strong running light and heavies, and the insanely huge damage Ash of War. This thing's a powerhouse, and you've got a lot of great options. There is a downside to the Ash of War though, I will say. It's very expensive on stamina. If you do catch someone, you want to have the stamina to follow up with that heavy to actually finish them off. It's so sad when you could have killed someone and you just couldn't because you didn't have the stamina. Now we should talk a bit about the PvE, where this weapon is just stupid. We have fire damage, we have bleed, we have hyper armor, we have the massive burst potential because of it. Just the Ash of War and spamming that and its follow-up attack, that's going to be insane. It's always going to be huge damage, even if, yeah, the animation takes a while. The hyper armor is going to make it work. Much like I mentioned for PvP, the waves have a bit of range to them, and they also do bleed build up, which is very likely to hit. The waves of the Ash can work great for spacing or even DPS, because you could just drop the wave and then start doing a normal combo or maybe multiple heavies while the waves go off and also trigger the bleed. When that happens, it's going to keep your AR high thanks to, yeah, the helm and talisman, but you shouldn't sleep on the heavy attack outside of the Ash. They do massive damage, and we're enhancing them in 2 ways. As a 2-part combo, you can get off even more damage damage if you get both off, if you can land them at one after another. And this can also lead to staggers, to those sweet critical attacks, which is worth fishing for. Overall, our PvE DPS is outrageously good, whether it's the Ashe, whether it's the heavy combos, or even the basics or combinations of all of it. This is really fun to play. If the enemy is weak to fire, as many are, it's only going to be better. Some enemies have unique weaknesses to fire as well, with animations that deal bonus damage or even stun them. It's a very strong element. Yeah, this is just a really strong PvE build. Alright, now let's go over the build itself, a quick explanation of how this works and why we're using what we are. So, we are using the Crescent Moon Axe, but you might be interested to see that we're using Inequality. That brings it to a B rating on strength and dex, so we found that that was just overall best, since we can hit the soft cap of 50 and 50 on the stats and get a lot of AR from this. We're using the Dragon Communal Seal, as always, for our Arcane Seal, and since we're running Bleed, yeah, we're running the White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. These things increase our AR when a Bleed proc occurs, so it's always good. We're wearing a 3-piece of the Spell Blades set, the Traveling Attire. This is Rogier's set. As always, if you have a magic-based Ash of War, each piece of this is going to increase the damage of that by 2%. So 3 pieces of this is a nice 6% increase. As we are relying heavily on the damage of an Ash of War, as always, the Shadow of Alexander is going to be great for that. And we do have the Axe Talisman to enhance the power of charge attacks, aka this heavy attack, which is the unique attack that we spoke of. You can further empower that with the Spiked Crack tier, which is going to also enhance charge attacks. Great for PvE, but like I said, it's not something you'll be landing that much in PvP. Our incantations are Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Vow to increase our attack power and a little bit of defense here. And then of course we have the all-important Bloodflame Blade, the core to the build. When I'm two-handing that with the stats that I have, that's 1110 AR on a single Great Axe. That's really good because it's a reasonable moveset. It's not a colossal weapon. But then with the patch improving the attack speed, that is really dangerous. And as you saw in the PvP clips today, yeah, just the basics with that attack speed, that really helps. Then a quick look at our stats. You might work these a little bit differently for yourself, but the most important things are having over 50 vigor, 15 mind to get us to exactly 95 FP. You'll note when I use the 2 incantations and the buff, I am completely out of FP. This is mathematically perfect. Then we have the 50 strength and dex for those soft caps, 25 faith and 12 arcane just to use the various incantations. But that's the build and its explanation. In conclusion, we have a very fun and very effective Great Axe build. Finally. The buffs of 1.06 to improve attack speed have made a major difference, especially when combining a Great Axe with impressive AR and the Bloodflame Blade buff. In combo with the Waves of Darkness, which is actually working now, this is just incredible. Especially against enemies weak to bleed and fire, which is very common in PvE. Of course, in PvP, it's still nuts. You just need to time your Ash of War attacks for them to trade into it and take all that damage. And yeah, make sure you got lots of stamina ready to get the full things off. To say the least, I'm really happy to have a Great Axe build that's relevant and good like this, and one that has a bit of a unique axe animation and attacks beyond just these simple, more colossal weapon style slams, which are really disappointing for an axe. I want to see an axe moveset. Still, this is a lot better than it used to be, and it's working now. That's what's important. But yes, please do let us know what you think. Are there any other great axes we might consider? And if you enjoyed the build and want to see more build videos like this, then drop a like on this video. For now though, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.